I'm Jane Eileen Cohen. I'm an intuitive and transformational counselor, teacher, and author, and a neurolinguistic programming and timeline master practitioner. Neurolinguistic programming teaches that we are never experiencing reality directly, but only a model of reality. There are huge numbers of pieces of information that are bombarding our senses every moment, and we couldn't possibly take all of them in. And so we filter in a very small percentage of them and out most of them. What we filter in and out is very subjective. Limiting decisions have a lot to do with what information you filter in or out. They distort your experience of reality and are what cause you to experience life as not working well. This includes any area in which you have negative patterns of behavior, such as getting into the same kind of dysfunctional relationships. Or you may find the same kinds of negative things keep happening to you, such as friends betraying you. Or maybe you struggle at earning money, or you have poor self-esteem, or perhaps you have difficulty learning new things. Any aspect of your life that is not working well is held in place by one or more limiting decisions, and that is regardless of what the external circumstances are. Limiting decisions usually get formed when you're very young, usually before the age of 6 or 7, and sometimes in adolescence. Something occurs that you don't have the conscious tools to make sense of. Maybe it's too intense or too overwhelming. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're 2 years old, and your mother left you alone in the living room, and you're toddling around on this beautiful white carpet, and you see a low-lying coffee table on the carpet. And on the table is a beautiful crystal glass of red wine that someone had left there. So you toddle over to the glass, and it just fascinates you. It's so beautiful. And you reach over to grab it, and it falls on the rug. And so all of this beautiful red wine starts seeping into the white carpet. And you're fascinated, and you're watching the beautiful red seeping into the white, and you're chortling and having a really good time. And in walks your mother. Now your mother has had a really rotten day, and this is just the last straw. And so she bounds over to you and she says, "What a bad girl or boy you are." And she slaps you. In that kind of a circumstance, most people would get thrown into a state of chaos and confusion, a state of shock, and their conscious mind would stop functioning. When the conscious mind is not functioning, the unconscious mind then takes over, which is a state of trance. It's a very impressionable state, and in that state you decide on a meaning for what you just saw, heard, and felt based on the amount of development and experience you have had up to that point in your life. And so, in this circumstance, you might decide, this means I'm bad, or this means when I'm really enjoying myself, something bad will happen, or I'll hurt someone I love, or whatever the decision is. And then the decision gets locked into your physiology, your muscle contractions, your breathing patterns, and your neural network patterns. And then your conscious mind takes back over, not realizing the unconscious mind has made a decision. Now this whole process occurs in a split moment. When this happens, your unconscious mind becomes very invested in proving that that decision is true, because it represents a source of stability for you. So if something similar to that happens, you think you know what it means, even though it's negative. So from that point on, you are filtering your experience of life through that decision like an unconscious assumption about the nature of life. In other words, your experience of reality in that particular area of experience has now been distorted by this limiting decision, and you are now misinterpreting a whole area of life. And your unconscious mind is now working like a background computer program, just looking for excuses to prove that this decision is true. And the way it proves it is by the way you interpret certain things that occur and the kinds of people and situations you attract to yourself or are attracted to. The way this might play itself out for this person is that he or she may repress their curiosity in life and be afraid to try new things. And when they do try new things, they might only remember the times when it didn't work out well. And when it does work out well, it doesn't stick in their mind. The limiting decisions we make are the basis in which we make other, more conscious decisions in our lives, and the directions we choose to take, and the people we choose to get involved with. The effect of limiting decisions is generally on a very unconscious level. You might, for example, know certain kinds of behavior or types of relationships aren't good for you, but you keep on going toward them anyway. That's because the distortion is on an unconscious level, not a conscious level. NLP timeline process is a very effective process for accessing and releasing limiting decisions that hold in place dysfunctional patterns in your relationships, self-esteem, career, financial situation, and other areas of your life that aren't working. It's an inherently hypnotic process, enabling you to access the first event in which you made the limiting decision, which is necessary in order to clear it. Timeline is structured in a very particular way according to how the brain works, making it very effective. A significant limiting decision is usually cleared in each session. I combine my intuitive and empathic skills, as well as a deeply positive and consistent thought system based on the principle life is meant to work, along with the timeline process, to release limiting decisions and facilitate profound life change. If you'd like to experience a free phone consultation with me and find out more about this, you can call me at 760-753-0733 or visit my website at janecohencounseling.com.